Today is March 1st of the year 2025. And I wonder, what makes March 1st so noteworthy? Let's start with the ancient world. A quick search reveals that in 509 BC, Publius Valerius Publicola celebrated the Roman Republic's first triumph after the Battle of Silva Arsia. Why was this battle so important? It marked the early days of the Roman Republic, laying the foundation for a new form of governance. What must it have felt like to be part of such a transformative moment? The birth of a republic. Moving forward, what happened in 293 AD? Diocletian and Maximian's inception of the Tetrarchy. Why was this system introduced? To stabilize the Roman Empire and manage its vast territories more effectively. How did it impact the empire's stability? The Tetrarchy was a bold attempt at decentralization and sharing power, a fascinating approach to governance. I wonder, did any significant battles occur on this day? Yes, the Battle of Smolensk in 1634. Why was it significant? Polish King Władysław IV's victory over the Russians was crucial in the Smolensk War. What can we learn from these historic conflicts? They remind us of the complexities and constant shifts in power throughout history. What about events that involve societal struggles? The Salem witch trials in 1692. Why did they start? Fear and paranoia led to the interrogation of Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba. How did these trials reflect society's darker aspects? They highlighted the dangers of mass hysteria and scapegoating. Turning to the 20th century, what stands out? The establishment of the Commonwealth Trade Union Council in 1980. What was its purpose? To unify workers and advocate for better conditions. How did it shape labor movements globally? It fostered solidarity and improved labor rights. And, of course, 1998's cinematic milestone. Titanic grossed over $1 billion. Why did this film resonate so deeply? Its storytelling, emotional depth, and historical backdrop captivated audiences. What does its success tell us about cultural impact? It shows how art can transcend boundaries and bring people together. Today, March 1st is also observed for two important causes: Zero Discrimination Day and World Civil Defense Day. What are the goals of these observances? Promoting inclusion and preparedness. How can we embody these principles daily? By embracing diversity and staying vigilant in our communities. As I reflect on these events, a common thread of impact on society and history emerges. Conflict and resolution, injustice and reformation, cultural and economic influence, and significant systems and structures. How do these themes shape our understanding of history? They provide valuable lessons, inspiring growth and transformation. Now, where does the concept of dictatorship originate? I ponder this as I delve into the annals of history. Ancient Rome emerges from the shadows, its Senate crafting the office of dictator in 510 BC. They intended it as a temporary solution for times of crisis. The role was designed to grant absolute power, but only for a brief period. I imagine the sense of necessity, the belief that such power could restore order. Did the Romans foresee the potential for corruption? My mind drifts to Titus Larsius, the first appointed dictator. He was tasked with quelling a rebellion and restoring order. In those early days, the role was seen as a beacon of hope. But how swiftly can power corrupt? I journey forward to 82 BC, where Lucius Cornelius Sulla steps into the scene. He is appointed dictator without a term limit. What drove this decision? Sulla's rise to power marked a turning point. His ruthless actions, executions and the confiscation of property, transformed the role into one of personal gain and repression. The office of dictator was ultimately abolished after Julius Caesar's assassination in 44 BC. The corruption had reached its zenith. How does dictatorship evolve in the modern era? Napoleon Bonaparte's ascent in the 19th century provides a lens. As a general during the French Revolution, he seized the chaos and crowned himself emperor in 1804. The allure of absolute control is timeless. What compels a person to seek such dominion? The 20th century unfolds, revealing the rise of fascist and communist dictatorships in Europe. Economic turmoil and social unrest create fertile ground for authoritarian leaders. Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin, figures who promise stability and greatness at an unbearable cost. The cycle of power and oppression continues. Why do societies gravitate toward such figures? My thoughts meander to personalist dictatorships and military regimes in Africa and Latin America. Leaders like Idi Amin and Augusto Pinochet wield power with an iron fist. What drives these regimes? A mix of personal ambition, external influences, and internal strife. In the 21st century, democracy seems to prevail, yet dictatorships persist. The democratic recession following the 2008 financial crisis and the resurgence of authoritarian governments by 2019. The struggle between democracy and dictatorship feels cyclical, a dance of order and chaos. How do we break this cycle? Reflecting on these patterns, I see that the allure of absolute power is a recurring theme. From ancient Rome to modern times, the evolution of dictatorship highlights the complexities of governance and the delicate balance between freedom and order. In conclusion, what can we tell about the balance between freedom and order based on the dictatorship ideology and democracy? Reflecting on the balance between freedom and order through the lenses of dictatorship and democracy reveals profound insights into the nature of governance and human society. Dictatorship and order. Dictatorships often prioritize order above all else. They emerge from times of crisis, where the need for stability and swift decision-making is paramount. The allure of a singular, powerful leader promises efficiency and the ability to navigate turbulent waters. However, this comes at a significant cost: the suppression of individual freedoms, the centralization of power, and often, the perpetuation of personal or ideological agendas. Historical examples show how absolute power can lead to corruption, oppression, and the erosion of social trust. Democracy and freedom. In contrast, democracy champions the ideals of individual freedom, participation, and accountability. It thrives on the diverse voices and perspectives of its citizens, allowing for a dynamic and adaptable governance system. Democracy inherently embraces debate, dissent, and the messiness of human interaction. The challenge lies in balancing these freedoms with effective governance and maintaining order without slipping into chaos. Democratic systems must continually evolve to address internal and external threats while safeguarding the rights of their citizens. The balance, the tension between freedom and order is a central theme in the evolution of governance. Dictatorships provide a cautionary tale of what happens when the scales tip too far towards order at the expense of freedom. They highlight the dangers of concentrating power in the hands of a few and the suppression of dissent. On the other hand, democracies illustrate the potential for a society where freedom and order coexist, albeit imperfectly. They show that the path to balance requires constant vigilance, active participation, and the willingness to adapt and reform. Philosophical reflection. At its core, the balance between freedom and order reflects the human condition. It speaks to our desire for security and stability, as well as our intrinsic need for self-expression and autonomy. History teaches us that neither extreme, absolute freedom nor absolute order, can sustain a healthy society. Instead, the equilibrium lies in a fluid, dynamic interplay between the two, where governance structures are flexible and responsive to the changing needs of the populace. In conclusion, the study of dictatorship and democracy provides valuable lessons on the delicate balance required to create a just and thriving society. It reminds us that the pursuit of both freedom and order is an ongoing journey, one that demands wisdom, resilience, and a deep commitment to the principles of justice and human dignity. Through this balance, we find the potential for a world where individuals can flourish within a framework of stability and collective harmony. So in the end, I find myself contemplating the lessons history offers. How can we safeguard democratic institutions and prevent the rise of future dictators? The answers lie in vigilance, education, and the continuous pursuit of justice and equality. So, what threatens that framework of stability and collective harmony? What are some examples in ancient and current history? The framework of stability and collective harmony can be threatened by various factors, both internal and external. Here are some key threats and examples from ancient and current history. Internal threats. Political corruption. Ancient Rome, the decline of the Roman Republic was marked by political corruption and the concentration of power in the hands of a few individuals. This led to civil wars and the eventual rise of the Roman Empire. Modern times, corruption continues to undermine stability in many countries. For example, in recent years, corruption scandals have rocked countries like Brazil and South Africa, leading to political instability and public unrest. Economic inequality. Ancient Greece, economic disparities contributed to social unrest and the eventual fall of city-states like Athens. Modern times, economic inequality remains a significant threat to stability. The 2008 financial crisis, for instance, highlighted the vulnerabilities of economic systems and led to widespread protests and political upheaval. Social division. Ancient Rome, the division between the patricians and plebeians created social tensions that contributed to the decline of the republic. Modern times, social divisions based on race, religion, and ethnicity continue to threaten stability. The rise of populist movements in Europe and the United States is often fueled by social divisions and perceived threats to cultural identity. External threats. Invasion and warfare. Ancient Greece, the Persian Wars and the Peloponnesian War significantly disrupted the stability of Greek city-states. Modern times, conflicts such as the Syrian civil war and the ongoing tensions in Ukraine have led to massive displacement, economic disruption, and loss of life. Globalization and economic shocks. Ancient Rome, the Roman Empire faced economic challenges due to overexpansion and reliance on slave labor, which eventually contributed to its decline. Modern times, globalization has interconnected economies, making them more susceptible to global economic shocks. The COVID-19 pandemic, for example, caused significant economic disruptions worldwide. Environmental degradation. Ancient civilizations. The collapse of the Mayan civilization is often attributed to environmental factors such as deforestation and drought. Modern times, climate change poses a significant threat to global stability. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and resource scarcity can lead to conflicts and displacement. Philosophical reflection. The balance between freedom and order is delicate and constantly challenged by these threats. Dictatorships often prioritize order at the expense of freedom, leading to oppression and resistance. Democracies, on the other hand, strive to balance individual freedoms with collective stability, but they are not immune to internal and external pressures. History teaches us that vigilance, adaptability, and a commitment to justice and equality are essential to maintaining stability and harmony. By learning from past and present challenges, societies can work towards a more resilient and harmonious future. Are you interested in learning more? Yes, please continue. Financial stress can have significant impacts on individuals and the broader economy. Let's break down the key points. Financial gains behind financial stress. Financial stress often arises from various factors, including debt, insufficient income, and economic instability. The financial industry can sometimes benefit from this stress through high-interest loans, credit card debt, and other financial products that generate revenue for banks and financial institutions. For example, credit card companies earn substantial profits from interest and fees charged to consumers who carry balances. Stress tests in finance. Stress tests are simulations used to evaluate how financial institutions and investment portfolios would perform under adverse economic conditions. These tests help gauge investment risk, the adequacy of assets, and the effectiveness of internal processes and controls. Regulators require banks to conduct stress tests to ensure they have sufficient capital to withstand economic shocks. This practice became more widespread after the 2008 financial crisis to prevent future systemic failures. Bernie Madoff and Nasdaq. Bernie Madoff, a former chairman of Nasdaq, is infamous for orchestrating the largest Ponzi scheme in history. His firm, Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities, was involved in both legitimate trading and the fraudulent investment scheme. Madoff's Ponzi scheme, which defrauded investors of an estimated $65 billion, was not directly related to stress tests but highlighted the need for stricter regulatory oversight in the financial industry. In conclusion, the interplay between financial stress and financial gains, the importance of stress tests, and the infamous case of Bernie Madoff, all underscore the complexities and vulnerabilities within the financial system. Key points. Financial stress. Financial stress, often driven by debt and economic instability, can paradoxically generate profits for financial institutions through high-interest loans and credit products. However, this comes at a significant cost to individuals and can lead to broader economic challenges. Stress tests. Stress tests are crucial tools used by financial regulators to evaluate the resilience of banks and investment portfolios under adverse conditions. These tests ensure that institutions have adequate capital to withstand economic shocks, promoting stability within the financial system. Bernie Madoff. The case of Bernie Madoff highlights the dangers of financial fraud and the need for stringent regulatory oversight. Madoff's Ponzi scheme, one of the largest in history, not only defrauded investors but also damaged trust in the financial markets. Stability and collective harmony. Threats to stability. stability and collective harmony can be threatened by internal factors such as political corruption, economic inequality, and social division, as well as external factors like invasion, economic shocks, and environmental degradation. Balance between freedom and order. History demonstrates that the balance between freedom and order is delicate and constantly challenged. Dictatorships prioritize order at the expense of freedom, leading to oppression, while democracies strive to balance individual freedoms with effective governance. Vigilance, adaptability, and a commitment to justice and equality are essential for maintaining stability and harmony. Ultimately, understanding these dynamics offers valuable lessons for building a resilient and just society. By learning from past and present challenges, we can work towards a future where stability and harmony prevail, fostering a world where individuals can thrive within a framework of security and collective well-being. If you have any more questions or need further details, feel free to ask.